Hey there, welcome to the back channel. Today, I want to talk about a certain type of firm that you might run into and some things to consider when deciding whether or not they're a firm you want to target. And I'm talking about firms that have theses or categories that they like investing or essays about what they're looking for. You might call them thesis-driven firms. Now, I'm kind of distinguishing between firms that are very specific, hard tech only, biotech only, even and to a certain extent, AI companies only, from other firms that are slightly more generalist but have these theses. You might see them like the future of work, or in the past it was mobile. Honestly, even AI is a thesis right now. And what I'd like to tell you is that a lot of first-time founders will go about being like, well, do I want to talk to this firm? I like this firm. I've heard this firm is good. But they say they have this thesis of X, which doesn't sound like it fits my company. Now, I've written about this before, and I think there's a bit of a dirty secret when it comes to the theses that these firms follow. And for me, the thesis is all in the benefit of the firm. The more positive one that I can share is that, yes, it helps them more focus their efforts around research, around marketing, around reaching out to different companies and startups and founders that they like. That's great. And I think that makes sense. But the secret value is their ability to pass on deals that they're not excited about. So you might go pitch them, or some random company might pitch them. And the real answer is that they just didn't like it, or they didn't like the founder, or they didn't get that excited. It's always a little bit difficult to deliver that type of feedback. You're just calling someone's baby ugly or telling someone they're not good. It's much more comfortable for them to be able to say, it just doesn't quite fit our thesis. Like many of you, my last venture-backed startup was a SaaS business. In that company early on, we had the opportunity to sell into a large enterprise, but ran into some walls when they asked us if we were SOC 2 certified. Not only were we not certified, we also found out that it would take our small team a ton of time to get that done, and so we ended up abandoning the deal. If you haven't run into a situation like that where a potential customer or investor is asking if you're SOC 2, HIPAA, GDPR, or ISO 27001 certified, you probably will soon. But unlike me, you could use a company called Vanta to help. Vanta helps automate up to 90% of the compliance work, getting you audit ready in weeks rather than months, and eliminating up to 85% of the costs. Not only that, but Vanta can start small with you and scale up as you grow, helping you land bigger deals and earn customer trust. The best part is, Vanta is offering funded listeners $1,000 off for going to vanta.com/funded. That's vanta.com/funded for $1,000 off your service. Check it out. And that is one of the dirty secrets that I believe exists around thesis-driven firms. The reason I say that is because when you're a thesis-driven firm, you can do two things. One, you can always kind of do a deal outside the thesis. I think these firms that are mostly generalist funds who didn't raise capital off of these specific theses, their LPs will be fine if they do great deals. So if a company that has a lot of momentum, or a company that has a great reputation, or a company that has just a fantastic pitch comes to them and it sits outside of the thesis, you know what? A lot of times they're going to do the deal. They're going to find a way to do the deal. Second thing to note is that you can kind of twist a lot of different companies into a lot of different theses, right? The future of work, you can jam a lot of things that might not seem like the future of work into the future of work, right? Like mobile mobility might go into the future of work because, in the future, you might not drive a car to your job. If you're an AI thesis fund, man, AI nowadays is essentially cloud computing, is essentially mobile, is essentially a tool that every company is going to use. So if you happen to be something around the rental market, short-term housing, anything like that, that might seem like, oh, that's not an AI company. But you know what? You might be able to use AI. And because your revenue is doing great, or you're a great founder, you're an AI-driven company. My point is, think about the firms that you're considering reaching out to or getting connections to, And don't be too scared off if you hear that they have a certain thesis. I would recommend you look at their past deals, their website, to see what investments they're in. And if there are any aberrations, things that kind of don't fit into what you think they might do, there's a good chance it might be worth your while to see if you could get a connection, to see if you could have a conversation with them. So that's my advice to you around thesis-driven firms, how you should target them, when you should target them. And I hope that's helpful for you. All right, we'll see you next time on the Back Channel.